Let me say a special good morning to our listeners, a special good morning to our viewers. Welcome. It's To The Point. It's Monday, the 2nd day of March. 2026. Those of you listening to us, whether it's via, of course, our Facebook page and listening and viewing via our Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning to you also. Welcome to The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Let me say good morning to Mr. Sylvan McIntyre. Of course, Mr. McPhail, good morning to both of you.
Morning, sir.
I was not around last week. My partner in crime, I like to refer to him and say, yeah.
Your partner did a good job, but we missed you.
Yes. You know, sometimes things just popping in me. I just got a last minute call that I had to go somewhere, and I couldn't substitute coming here to do that. One had to forego.
Right.
You understand? So I thought, well, I called my good bro, and he didn't hesitate to say, well, I'll sit in.
Yes.
Yeah. So
okay,
thanks once again, Innocent. Thank you so much. So how's everything going? We had a weekend of fires in the Spice Isle. You know, that's my sympathy goes out to the families who may have lost their possession. I was telling someone this morning, it's really hard when you work to accumulate what you have.
Yes.
And it's get lost in under the circumstances like that.
Great.
Sometimes I view it even worse than someone stealing things from you.
Yeah.
I view it in a way that sometimes, someone may steal something from you, but it's even worse to lose it in fire.
You may be able to retrieve it.
You understand? Yes. Someone stole something from you, probably could get it back in some way or the other, But when things are lost in that particular manner, and my concern also in terms of, when I understand the circumstances of the fire.
Yes.
That's something that I know a lot of parents have to look forward to, leaving young ones unattended.
Yes.
Unattended.
About the Subi's fire.
Even the recent one in the frequent area also.
Yeah, don't frequent here. So
you understand?
Yes, some children.
Some parents allegedly left them had matches and so leaving youngsters unattended and unsupervised by someone, of course, even more mature than them.
Yes.
Who could say, hey, you don't do this and don't do that.
You had in Sautels last weekend.
And yes, Sautels last
weekend.
So for the last couple of weeks, for the last week or so, we had approximately 5, right?
Yes.
Approximately 5 fires.
Yes.
So that's concerning. One is too much.
Yeah.
And to have five, what is most concerning to me is the loss that occurs from it.
Yes.
You understand? I understand the fire has occurred, but the loss that individual go through. You imagine yourself, Mr. McIntyre, waking up in the morning and you have that one shirt and one underwear that you may have to hold on to.
All that's on is what's left with you.
What's left of you. You understand? That's how I view it sometimes. Just waking up in the morning, you may have had 20 shirts or 20 pants, multiple shoes, but then to wake up after that morning and now you're saying to yourself, that's all I have. Maybe a slippers or maybe nothing was able to be saved. That's what's concerning to me in relation to those sometimes. So
all they consider is thank God for life.
Thank God for life. You may be able to replenish these things, but sometimes there are sentimental things that you may have grown up with as a youngster. Your grandmom, your granddad may have left that with you, and you've been holding on to it, and you get it lost under those circumstances. You understand? So that's a little bit of concern in that relation to that circumstance.
And yes, you may rebuild from the ashes because yesterday Shanty Mill there was a handing over. But that was after 18 months.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, so the folks who have lost their homes, they were able to get them back. So I viewed that yesterday.
They're happy they got it back.
Yeah.
But
it still troubles the mind, knowing the circumstances in which it was lost and so forth. So I mean, I wish things we could have done. If it was a trillionaire, I'd just get that taken care of for them.
A trillionaire?
Yeah. So if I were a trillionaire.
What about you are a millionaire then?
It could work too. It worked too,
So you see what is
the millions might be a little bit too small.
So you have to be from billion before you get to trillion. So
but I'm looking at it from a higher point. Millions could be a bit small change these days for some people. For some people.
Oh, okay.
Being a billionaire could be small for some people. Yes. Otherwise, gentlemen, how is everything else?
Well, speaking about flowers and everything else over the weekend and all of that came through, I still want to give you guys some flowers for your shirts.
Yeah.
You have strong pink and light pink.
Real men wear pink.
Real men.
Oh, you know what? I'm happy that you used the word real men because it's going to form part of our punchline coming forward in speaking about gender-based violence. On the program later on, we intend to speak on how our foundation is supporting the drive against violence to women. And one of our tagline would be real men. we're going to really punch what real men is supposed to be. And but leave the conversation for later on. But going back to our flowers over the weekend, I think there are a lot of things that has happened. But picking back on the conversation which you started in terms of the loss that we had, remember our conversation trended along the dry season a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And immediately after we said that there should have been a stronger appeal in terms of reaching out to people, ensuring that they understand what the dry season is going to be like. And I was happy that the next day, Nawasa came out actually.
They did.
They did. They came out and they spoke in terms of the dry season and what people should be expecting and what they should be doing. That is commendable. So we're looking for more of these initiatives to happen across. But also because of the fire, dry season creates more fuel for igniting fires, etc. And people have to be mindful of that as well. So when we have home fires and we have agriculture-related fires and external environmental fires and so on that can degrade our environment and destroy some things, that too we have to be really, really mindful of. So we want more messaging across. We want agriculture, and we want maybe the fire department and more entities to be on board. You know, telling people on both sides, informing people on both sides, the advantages and disadvantages, the do's and don'ts. Because if you speak of the lack of water, then you need to speak of what it can cause. One, you can have the drought effect, and drought effect is also a precursor sometimes to fires, etc. And so people's activities and the action in home and out of home, even agricultural practices, that too has to be changed. It has to be harnessed, it has to be managed properly. So that could lead into that. So that's an aspect, and you spoke about the loss that people may have and how, I guess, entities organized, administrative or otherwise nationally, they may give some support, but we need to see more community rallying around people in terms of, and I think Grenada has been in that case very generous. I think most people who've lost stuff, they can say that they received 2 times and 3 times and 7-fold what they lost.
So true.
But the period, I think Grenada have reached
some
out.
may not have that immediate impact on them in the immediate effect of it. You understand? They may have received the assistance, so sometimes they don't feel it that's
correct.
bad.
Yeah.
You understand? Some folks who may, in other circumstances, may have not really gotten anything.
That's correct.
But in the Grenada circumstances, most time folks are taken care of.
Yes.
In an instant way of saying.
But the length of time is one of it that we sometimes don't manage very well. And I keep speaking about our social, psychosocial fabric and how it rallies the infrastructure around to help people. That period of 18 months or otherwise, and the time that people sometimes have to wait for support, how are they making it during those times? What kind of a support are they getting psychologically to rally through those? By the time they get to that place where they get the material, they may have lost their minds.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Correct.
Because so the period of time they may have to wait, what they have to rally through. You may see these people come back, they may get a house, you may be giving them material, and they're just not the same. So
I mean, thinking about
I don't think the psychosocial support is really there.
Yeah, I mean, think about you having to live with someone for a period of time. If you've always been comfortable in your own space, for a lengthy time, and then know you have to share that with someone else. You may be happy for it, that you have somewhere to rest your head. But sometimes, some folks are one just like the comfort of their own space.
Yes, of course.
Then sometimes
and do things in their own particular way.
Sometimes too, you overstay your welcome. And they wouldn't tell you,
but they show you. Or even they show you, but you feel it.
But you could feel that you have overstayed your welcome.
Absolutely.
We all understand that, but it goes along.
So that's one of the angles. And flowers over the weekend and the weekend before, I think we had the national relays. And then we had the national championship. And I heard GAA rep and coaches and and Ariza and so on sponsors speaking about the success. I thought that's tremendous. Tremendous. I think the future in athletics and the amount of persons currently who are on scholarship because of their athletic performance, Grenada, we are on a very, very good trajectory, to be honest. And we look at the under-9s and these younger boys and girls who are coming there, and you can see the athleticism in them. You can see the skills, you can see the form that they're building and they're growing into. And I think people underplay the support system from the Grenada Athletic Association. We have to give them some flowers for what they do, and the coaches and the coaching skills, even ministry and otherwise, supplies that they've been pumping into the schools and so on. And even the sponsors, Classic Lighting, you hear them have quite a number of clubs and schools that they sponsor, which is, I think, is paying already dividends. These people, we need to be able to give them some flowers. And over the weekend, I was part of the medical first aid response system. I'm the director of the operations on that area. And so kudos have to be given to the doctor, the nurses, and those responders. We had Dr. Philip and her team out there, and the EMTs from the hospital, and they have been doing a tremendous job. I think people underplay the support that they see from that little white tent. And yesterday we had a very moving situation. And I want to really say hats off to those volunteers who came on. But people don't understand, let me just expand on it, that the people at the finish line who give the first aid and the medical response, we there have a lot to do. We are parents, we are security officers, we are counselors, and everything of that sort. People may have seen that young child, that young lady from Moncton, that one, I think it was the 3,000 or something like that, but the long distance race. Very young child. And I want to commend the parent because she seemed to be well parented and so on. You could see her when she win, she or even she lose, she goes around and she embraces everybody. And yesterday winning that I think it's the 3,000, it was open for all ages, and that young, I think she's probably about 10 years, I don't know, maybe not more than 12, because she's in primary school. And she won that race, and the stadium gave her a standing ovation. They were there to see her win that race. Everybody stood up and they clapped. But she stood there. There was one young child who was coming around. She almost got lapped. But that young lady, she waited at the finish line to commend that last finisher. When that young lady came across the line, and she went across with water to give to her and to commend her, the young lady shrugged her off. I actually saw that also. She shrugged her off, and you could have heard the uproar from the spectators at the stadium. They were like, "Really? Did we see this happen?" But it went beyond that. People didn't understand what went on. So the young lady, I ushered her into the tent. So we went there, and there was one of the physiotherapists who was talking to her, and I went in and I joined the conversation, and I started speaking to the young lady. And I said to her exactly how the spectators and the world would feel about her reaction and how she did. And I questioned her very mildly and spoke to her, and she broke down in tears. And I think this is probably news to a lot of people who have not heard it. I want to say also flowers to, I think, Uncut Media. That's what's her name? Sherry Anuel, for bringing out the other side of it. Speaking to the young lady expressed the inner emotion she was feeling. People only saw her reaction on the line to the young lady, but they didn't understand what she was feeling internally. So we were able to speak to her, and she brought that out. Actually, she said that she lost one of her parents, and her desire in that race was to have won or to come in or to place, and she didn't. And so her emotion got the hold of her coming across the line. So it just came out. Her reaction to her was a deeper feeling of what she was going through. And to the world and people who saw that, they only saw her reaction. When we spoke to her, she was very remorseful. She broke down and she said she was sorry. I said, "Do you want to apologize?" She said, "Yes, I want to." And Sherian, when she got the other young child, brought her in under the tent, they embraced. She apologized, and the young lady made a statement saying that she knew that how people were going to feel about her. She represented her school, one of the schools in St. Andrew. I mean, she was very remorseful that she did not represent well and the situation. So I want to really say it comes back to the whole psyche and the psychological things and the support system that exists. So even working at that point, you have to have some level of training. You have to have some level of empathy and understanding situation. I remember when Kashi had his first loss, that guy was traumatized. He was on his back. He was crying. He never experienced loss. And so, because we are the first people online to reach out to him, I mean, your first impression and the first assistance you get is critical to everything. And so that kind of emotional support that we give to him, the encouragement to him, understanding how you deal with loss, that in my opinion, seeing him yesterday, his attitude and everything was different. So I just wanted to say that we have to continue to build that psychosocial fabric around our systems and our structure to support especially our young persons, because the impression from even most, if not all of the officials, who is this young lady?
Yeah.
How could she be so ill-disciplined? And people didn't even want to face her to relate to her. But we found in our practical and professional way that we had to approach this young lady and speak to her, and there we got the other side. So I think the healing process for both of them has happened, and I think the image that the world and the spectators there had about her, that has changed because we intervened and got to the real situation. Again, flowers to the system.
Great.
G and those who really did
sometimes it's the way the world has become lately. You
Yes.
understand? Folks strive on the negatives before they try to figure out the real story behind anything.
Yes.
The emotions roll behind the negatives, and sometimes when we get to understand the reason why somebody do or say things, then we change that. But sometimes that becomes a little bit too late.
Yes. And social media is instant. You have Instagram
you
and
try
everything
to say
else.
whether you didn't know, instead of you found out what had happened before, instead of you just going out and reading your criticisms.
Yes.
We have found out exactly what had happened before. But it never used to be like that.
Yes. Well, social media and the instant release of information is destroying a lot of things. But one thing we have to be mindful of, as we speak of all of the issues happening in our society, it comes from young to up. It comes from the social, societal support and the domestic support that we create in our young children.
Yeah.
And so this young lady, I guess, too, maybe not yet even a teenager, or probably just about there, the way you handle her, it means that you can lose somebody who could be prominent in society later on.
Because that can have that effect on her for a pretty long time.
That's correct. And I think
she's coming and decided I may not want to participate in any event.
As a matter of fact, she said she didn't want to come back. She did say that.
Yeah.
She told us on the inside she don't want to be. And we were able, and I know that her approach will be different because I think the counseling process and how we rallied around her and everything else, how the situation was dealt with, I think she will be a different child today. So I want to express, on behalf of all of us down there, our gratitude to everybody else, and I hope the parent may have access to this information, give her the support that she needs. She would be probably still facing pressure from other people who have not seen or understood the other side of the situation.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah.
Smack, we due for a break. Let's take it when we come back. We get into our conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point, Classic Radio GBN TV. We'll be right back. Don't touch it out.
The Grenville Cooperative Credit Union introduces its new digital platform, managing your finances at any time from anywhere.
As a part-time student, balancing work and studies can be a real challenge. But with GCCU's digital app, these worries are no more. My parents can now remotely transfer funds to my account and I can check my balance at any time, giving me the freedom to achieve my goals.
My days can be long and tedious. With this app, I can ensure my loan is paid on time, transfer funds to someone else's account, and check my balances. I don't have to rush to do business during my lunch hour or after work anymore.
With this app, I can request checks to pay my suppliers, letters for my business transactions. I don't have to leave my farm to go stand in line.
The Grenville Credit Union digital platform. It's convenient and secure banking right at your fingertips. Download the app today from the Play Store or App Store or call 442-8602, 459-4325 or 416-8467 for further information.
In Grenada, sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. They teach discipline, teamwork, and resilience. They inspire the next generation to push boundaries and chase excellence. That's why the Investment Migration Agency of Grenada is proud to support sports initiatives as part of our commitment to youth and national development. When we invest in sports programs, we invest in the future. We invest in the health and well-being of our youth, and we invest in broadening Grenada's reach, proudly connecting our athletes, our talent, and our nation to a global community. Together, we all go further. The Investment Migration Agency. Unlock the possibilities.
A trip to Grenada from April 4th to the 6th, 2026. A decision you'll never regret. This isn't just any destination. It's where passion meets performance. Welcome to the 53rd Carifta Games, hosted at the iconic Kirani James Athletic Stadium in St. George's. Under the theme, Passion Drives Performance. The best of the Caribbean's junior athletes will compete in electrifying track and field competition. Organize now and be part of an experience like no other, where talent, passion, and perseverance come alive on the land of 100,000 jab. Feel the passion, celebrate the performance, and create memories that will last a lifetime in pure Grenada, the land of warmth, spirit, and unstoppable energy. Welcome to the 53rd Carifta Games.
Whenever happy to see me, nobody is strangers. One big family. Back too close, you ain't even know me. Trust my brothers from way back from the north. Stay in the ocean, spend it like they owe me. Gotta stay select, don't come around to me, better come correct. Different lives that we lead, I'm in the night.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again to the Point Classic Radio. Mr. Richard McPhail with us this morning, and Mr. Sylvan McIntyre on the program. You know, we gave a lot of flowers, as you like to say, in our first segment, but we skipped an important that we didn't mention. Yaffy Fletcher.
Yes.
That little bit of benefits there from, and I'm showing appreciation to her. How do you guys feel about that?
$100,000, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
with me and her were friends.
Well, Afi and I good. I have to give her a call. I mean, 100,000 down there.
That's a cousin of mine.
Oh, okay, great. But I think the underscore statement there, technically, or pinning statement, is recognition of our national icons. And she's one of those. She represents women well. Yeah. And I would hope to maybe in some way, because of the whole issue of domestic and gender-based violence, maybe we can get Afi to make a statement as well.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that should resonate, you know, with women and everything else, to be able to add a voice to it. People in those kind of esteem and so forth. And also kudos to the national system, Grenada's government, who has shown recognition to a young lady who's represented Grenada well.
Well, the athletes in general, because remember the Olympians last year, last Olympics, they got good recognition.
We're talking in the likes of Karani and of course the other two gentlemen, they also did get some recognition.
I was hoping, you heard about a piece of land? Did Afi get a piece of land as well, or just she get the $100,000? Or did she get a piece of land before?
I'm not sure. You guys are more.
I'm not sure, but I know for the financial.
I know about the $100,000 too. But I think over the a lot of places try to help with parcels of land, and I think that is a kind of a great initiative, and maybe it's something we should probably try to follow. Government has.
I know policy was being developed.
Well, maybe we could inquire of that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea to award people with a parcel or a portion of land. I know a few persons who have gotten parcels of land.
Yes.
It gives you an indication of future. If you give somebody $1 million, $100,000, they could blow it up in a few cruises and so forth. That can go.
Give it a weekend, it could be over.
That's correct. Yeah. The way we do things, you can blow it up in a weekend. But a parcel of land and so on is really, your land don't go, technically.
So true.
I think that's a good initiative. So if you're giving like $1 million, you could probably give $700,000 and another $300,000.
Well, we certainly hope that we will be here another ceremony being put on, and you know.
I think, and she has more to get,
and there's much more to come.
And there are more Afi, and there are more Kiranis, and there are more athletes and junior Morris and
that raises the enthusiasm of the individual in terms of want to participate in sport. Not just for the financial benefits only, but it gives them encouragement. No, I could be rewarded for what I'm going to be doing over here. You know?
And Grenada, man, representing Grenada with the red, the gold, and the green,
and the nutmeg.
Yeah,
and the nutmeg. I mean, that is. I feel a sense of pride when I hear and see our nationals being recognized. You know, locally. I mean, once you do local, the global stage is right. It's gone.
Yeah. And, but sometimes it takes us to be recognized over there before we get that appreciation home. But it's that sometimes.
Which is the upside down thing. Sometimes they say a king has no honor in his own country, but I think we're getting a lot of it right.
All right.
That's changing.
Beginning to change early enough than to show those recognition. One of the things we wish to see, apart from our sporting personnel, is our technical people.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who represent Grenada well, who've done well academically and otherwise, and they are making inputs and their placements. There are a lot of people who go out, they do training, they have qualifications and everything else, and they are shelved, they're not put to perform. You have people because of political preferences or alignment, they are placed in offices, they are put in different places where they cannot function and give their merits and so on. And that has happened throughout our lifetime, my own lifetime. I've been seeing these kind of things happening and so on. It's time that we be able, as I heard spoken of, that we award and do placements by merits and our people who have the ability, the qualifications, the contributions, the experience that they are positioned so to contribute.
Some people feel that, especially, I don't know why it's that feeling. We always feel that we are not good for ourselves. I wonder if you understand where I'm coming from with this. And you may have someone locally who possesses that talent within but somehow the talent is getting imported.
Yeah.
To do the same thing that an individual who's in Grenada locally can do it for you.
Yeah.
And even do it better than an individual who they're importing to do it.
Yeah.
I have personally seen that done already. You understand? See it personally done. And sometimes you wonder why that is done that way. Yeah, but
one of the things that we normally say is that it's happening other places in the world and so forth, but we maintain that Grenada is unique. And Grenada should be unique for its quality and standards, not for the other things. Let us be different. We don't have to do the things that everybody else is doing. Even if we may make mistakes and so on, we could just be different and let's be the model. In a lot of ways, we have been models of a lot of things, and let's continue that sense of pride. I know Grenada, we have a very, very good place on the world stage, as small as we are. And let us continue to be unique, different, and to be model that we should be.
Well, we hope we have a turnaround with that in the future to come. We may be in heaven looking down and listening to that. So
yes.
By the time that takes
I'm happy that you think in heaven.
I want to switch the conversation a wee bit.
Yes.
It's been trending lately in terms of what's been happening on our beautiful Spice Island, as we've been saying, in terms of gender-based violence. And sometimes as men ourselves, and most of the time the violence that occurs is performed by men.
Yeah.
It's not a thing that we are happy about.
No.
It's not something we're happy about. And for most individuals I have spoken to, have come on the program, speaking individual in my personal capacity with them also, they are very upset in relation to this.
Yes.
So we want to focus on that a little bit this morning. Gender-based violence. I'm not sure the trend how you want to deliver it this morning, Mr. McIntyre, so I'll leave it for you to make a go.
Sure.
And of course myself and Mr. McPhail will chip in from time to time.
Yeah. And I'm one of those who believe that sometimes the more monkey you have, the less dance you get. Sometimes the more people who get on scenes and talk a lot, you get less result. And we said last time, we agreed that sometime after all has been said and done, much more does be said than done. And I believe it's time that we see a lot more actions rather than a lot of speeches and a lot of comments. I just want to say that today, representing two hats this morning, the AMSA for the Asha McIntyre Safety Foundation for Roads, we want to add our voice to condemning the issues of gender-based violence, definitely. And on behalf of the Caribbean Disaster Risk Management Solutions, we want to also add our voice or discuss on the activities and behaviors of our men who do not represent us as men. They are not the ambassadors.
Yeah.
And I want to say as well that the actions of some of these men does not represent every man. And I want that to be clear. But what I want us to strive towards would be some actions, some action-oriented things that can generate some change. And so people have spoken about the family parenting aspect of it and the focus on men from an early age, young boys, teaching them how to appreciate females. And not just the focus on females, they are the pride. And the boys are the loose people. Growing up, you would hear parents saying, well, hold your hand, my cock is on the loose. Yeah. Literally, meaning that the boys should go on the loose to do what they want. But you should hold your girl because my boy is left up to doing what he wants, because that should be the attitude of boys. And eventually they grow into men.
Yeah.
But it goes further than that up to this point. As society grows and it expands, things become habit, and it becomes norm, etc., when they are repeated. And so the actions of some of the children and boys from early growing up has to be curbed. And so one of the actions going forward I want us to drive, and as I said before, you'll see an initiative that we hope will become a tagline slogan from our foundation in terms of how we stand against the actions that men are doing negatively to women. We want to be able to focus on the theme of real men, who real men are. And you're going to hear about that. But I want to just strike on a simple approach that I would like to see men and young boys we want to take as we approach female. One of the things towards love and appreciation. In some cases, love tend to feel that it is personal. Yeah. And it's unfortunate our society has coined love to mean a sexual approach or that kind of an intimate connotation to love. But love is an affection, a genuine affection to have things to be done good, a feeling of good. That's what love should be. So what I want as an expression to be generated by our men and our young men is when some things happen, it sometimes may be more difficult society now to say I love you, but we want to change that to say I appreciate you. And that is a statement, a slogan, a drive, and a wording I would want to resonate among our young men especially, or even in our senior areas of society. If I love you cannot come out and would feel different, tell people, especially ladies, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you... And that comes across, when it comes in a genuine feeling, they understand and they feel the expression of love, how that appreciation comes across. Now, when you tell somebody, I appreciate you, it goes in many ways a deep, long way, because appreciation is based on the human mind. Yeah. Everyone needs some for happiness all the time. So if we can just break this down and build this into us, that when something happens, apart from saying thank you, let the expression come out, I appreciate you. And when that goes on, it takes a lot to flip to the opposite. When you've just said to somebody and you want to show them I appreciate you, to become violent to them in the next few seconds or next few minutes. So I thought, in a small way, we want to infuse a movement that speaks of and show appreciation for the female gender of our society, that's women. And so, in a lot of sense, we want more men to come out and condemn the action of other men. But also, when you find a negative, you should be able to strive for a positive. What are the things that men can do different that can show appreciation and can show love? I've known a lot of times. There was one time I saw a lady pregnant. She adorned nicely and everything else. And I said, ma'am, you know you are beautiful, you look nice. And she turned around and said, thank you. And in a genuine way, that lady felt that in the expression on her face, it was like, oh, really?
He wasn't expecting someone.
He wasn't really expecting, because people tend to believe that if you're pregnant, you should look ugly, you should dress japper, you should show yourself somewhere, you should sit down anyhow, and so on. And the way she carried herself, the way she was dressed and everything, I said, ma'am, you're beautiful, you look nice, you're pregnant, fit you. Yeah. And so when people are able to give those kind of expressions to our female, now that whole expression, that feeling that lady gets, you know where that goes? Right through her heart, and it transfers to the fetus that she's carrying, you know. And so that sense of appreciation and love and comfort that lady begins to feel societally, she can mother a very respectful child. Okay. And so the whole aspect of how society embraces our female could change the status quo as to how our action fan out later on. And people, let me just say, again, while we condemn the action, it is normal, it is human to get angry. Even the scripture speaks about it because the Bible understands that people get angry. It says,
be angry and sin.
Be angry and sin not. It means if you get angry, you should get to the point where you should control your anger. When you feel that sense of aggression, take a smile, take a deep breath, pull back in, and then turn around and say, you know what, I appreciate you.
They always say that 2 seconds count can make a whole lot of difference.
It make a whole lot. So when the second feels like, don't just fling your hand, because that fling hand could be a lifelong or a life lost.
I want to ask you something on that. You spoke when you started in terms of values that parents give their children.
Yes.
I sometimes do have a different view on that.
Yeah.
Because I know there are parents who may have brought their sons and daughters to church for the 7 days a week if they can.
Yes.
They have instilled the values in these young men in terms of, talking to them, expressing the wrongs that they that they should not be performing and so forth for a majority of their lifetime. Mm-hmm. So and even though the parent may be single parent, maybe just a mom alone, the father may not be there and stuff like that, but these values has been instilled. But then we see still these young men may turn around and still commit these crimes. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I sometimes I take a little, it draws back a bit with saying that values was not instilled from home. Because sometimes values are instilled on these individuals from home.
Yes.
They are. But I always say every individual whoever commit these crimes, whatever, whether it's gender-based or whatever violent tendency they have, I always think it's an individual of their mind of their own.
Yeah, what they do. Everyone has a mind.
And it also goes where the early signs are sometimes left unattended.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the problem does come in. Sometimes there are early signs that we see and we just leave it. Sylvan maybe just acting off. You understand? Yeah. You may see a youngster for some reason, his mom, his dad is doing the best for him. But when they are not around, he's probably going to take a stone and break a glass.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
I mean, boys being boys, as we would say.
Yes.
Or he may decide to jump over Mr. McPhail fence and steal Mr. McPhail's mangoes.
Yeah.
And we say boys being boys. But sometimes those are the early signs that we are not paying attention to.
Right. And this is why parenting skills is something that people don't bond often with those kind of skills. Yeah. They could be built in. Your family line sometime would, based on your setting, you would automatically latch on to some things.
So if your father get trouble, you get trouble too.
It happens a lot of time. And you can bet. Trending has shown that a lot of times, even your professional life.
I disagree with you, though.
In your professional life, as a family setting, in most cases, somebody within the household will follow the skill or pattern set of the father or the mother. But even if it's not directly, immediately, if you have a family that had a police officer in it, a father was a police, trust me, down the road, either a son, a daughter, or a cousin, one of them will come out of police.
Well, I understand it from that point, but I'm saying, if your father, Mr. McIntyre, was an alcoholic, you have to be an alcoholic?
No, but the tendency, and if you look at statistics and other models, it would show you that the chances of the child becoming an alcoholic is greater. It doesn't have to be. I agree with you.
I respect your point.
I respect yours too.
But I just have a different view. I just don't feel that you have to.
No, you don't have to.
I know individuals who grew up in homes where their parents were smokers, we'll say.
No,
my dad was an alcoholic since a youngster knows my dad will be drunk in the night. That youngster knows that. But he grew up in a way of not wanting to be the same. Yeah. And has never put a drink in his mouth. Never put a cigarette in his mouth.
No, I know.
So I would say that when you say adopting what your parents have, you may have to, it be genetic or whatever. I don't think it has to.
No, it doesn't have to be. But the probability and possibility do exist.
It do exist, but I'm just saying you don't have to.
No, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you that you don't have to. I use myself a lot because I live with me for most of my life, so I know a lot about me. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a setting where as a young boy, I was in a shop that sold alcohol. when men came, they drank, they behaved,
I grew up in similar settings myself.
They smoked, they drank, everything else. And I've never had alcohol in my system where I was intoxicated or drunk. I don't know what it is to be drunk. I've seen guys smoke cigarette, use weed, do everything, and I have never had any of those. That's but my relatives around me, my friends around me, other persons around me, they involved, that's their choice.
And so you made that personal choice?
Of course.
So that's what I'm saying. I sometimes don't go with when people say, well, it's because you didn't grow up home properly or they didn't train.
But I know others in the same family settings and so on, that their father and others were alcoholic, and they came out strong alcoholics.
I understand that also. Yeah. And I still go back to the saying, it's their choice.
Of course.
It's their choice.
Yes.
It's a choice that individuals make. And I sometimes take it when they say, is your mother, you're in train, you're properly. I don't like when people make those statements.
But that statement is also true in some cases.
Yeah, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I always say it goes back to the individual themselves.
I would not want to base it. I forgive me to defer with you on that. I respect your point, Richard, as a mediator, technically between us. But technically, I believe that parents do have a responsibility. Despite every human being was made as a free moral agent, you can choose good or evil. And that's how God created people. But circumstantially or otherwise, adults, that's why you have leaders.
Yeah.
Because everybody can't do everything. You have people with different responsibility, and that's why you have adults and you have children, because children do not born adults and their faculties are not developed from a child. It goes through stages, and you have to be able to harness it into maturity. And if you leave it, suppose you had just left and no parent would have said, every person is born free, you have a choice, and just leave everything and don't help them. What do you think will happen?
You made a
point.
Reference recently, a while ago to the Bible.
Yes.
When you said about be angry and sin not.
Right.
Well, I want to make another reference now.
Yeah.
Train up a child
in the way
he should go.
When he's old,
he will not depart from it.
Okay.
Right? So it has to do a lot of training. It has to do a lot.
But my point still comes around where you could offer all of that training to a child. Not so?
Yeah.
Bring it up in the right way, as I mentioned before, bring them to church 7 days a week, if you possibly can.
Yes.
But that individual, when they get to a certain stage, if they want to be that way they want to be, they will be the way they want to be. So
right.
are you going to blame the parent for saying they didn't bring him up properly? Because that's what I'm hearing most of the time. And I know individuals who have committed crimes, and I know for myself personally, they were brought up properly.
So that statement doesn't apply to those?
Yeah.
That statement doesn't apply to those who did it. It applies to those who did not. You So we're going to take a break?
We'll take a break. Let's take a break and come back. Stay with us, folks, on Point Classic Radio Tribute TV. We will be right back. Don't touch it out.
Payments.
Camahorn Boat, a powerful multimedia production, presented at Carafesta 15, written and directed by Chris DeRiggs. One big performance, only at the Grenada Trade Center on Saturday, 7th March at 7 p.m. The Camahorn Boat is the ship of state, Grenada, sailing to its destiny. The Camahorn Boat is a call for unity, an exciting story about patriotism, played out by Grenada's best acting talents, featuring Samuel Ogilvie, Robert White, Debbie Gilchrist, Pianki Toussaint, Dillian Walters, and others. Come out and join us in celebrating our Grenadianness on Saturday, 7th March, 7 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Admission almost free. Advance tickets are $50, $65 at the door. Your ticket outlets: Giddens Pharmacy Grand Anse, Art and Soul Bookstore, Spiceline Mall, Mitchell's Pharmacy Grand Anse, 3B's Shoe Store, downtown St. George, and other places. Bring out the entire family and enjoy a wonderful evening of Grenadian theater on 7th March at Grenada Trade Center, 7 p.m.
A trip to Grenada from April 4th to the 6th, 2026. A decision you'll never regret. This isn't just any destination. It's where passion meets performance. Welcome to the 53rd Carifta Games, hosted at the iconic Kirani James Athletic Stadium in St. George's. Under the theme, Passion Drives Performance. The best of the Caribbean's junior athletes will compete in electrifying track and field competition. Organize now and be part of an experience like no other, where talent, passion, and perseverance come alive on the land of 100,000 Jab Jab. Feel the passion, celebrate the performance, and create memories that will last a lifetime in pure Grenada, the land of warmth, spirit, and unstoppable energy. Welcome to the 53rd Carifta Games.
Whenever happy to see me, nobody is strangers. One big family.
Grenada, listen up. This one hits different. On Saturday, March 14, it's going down at the Roy St. John's playing field in Tantine with Grenada Autofest. More than cars, go head to head with vintage, antiques, and classics, bikes, Jeeps, Land Rovers, and custom-built machines, all battling for $50,000 in cash and prizes. It's more than a car show. It's a family day. Look out for go-kart racing and bouncy castles, and we climax with Sakina and the Alpha One Band, plus a special surprise. It's Grenada Auto Fest, Saturday, March 14. It's a vibe you can't miss. Lock the date. Special thanks to our partners, Wagity Rental, True Blueberry Resorts, On The Spot Hardware, and all our category prize sponsors.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers once again. As usual, look, of course, the conversation always is an interesting one. But the Safer, of course, organization, of course, there's an initiative coming up.
Yeah.
Is it on the March 6th?
March 6th, which is Friday of this week.
Friday of this week.
So, we have accepted as a foundation that we want to heighten the awareness around road safety at least once per year in a big way on the 6th of March. And this year we are starting in a smaller way. We hope to become a national entity where people can eventually focus more strongly on that day, the 6th of March, the first Monday in every March.
Yeah, every year.
Every year, the first Monday in March.
Going forward from next year.
Okay.
We want it to be recognized as Road Safety Awareness Day, basically, nationally. We understand there's a global one that sometimes we recognize, but we believe as a foundation that Grenada should have heightened awareness at a particular time. And we chose the first Monday of every year in March. March every year to do that. But this year, March 6th falls on a Friday. Okay. So we're starting with this simple initiative that on the 6th of March, starting at early morning from 0:01, that's after midnight, to up to midnight on the same day, the 6th of March.
Yes.
Even if it goes into 6 o'clock the next morning, the period of time when the police report the road traffic, that date should be considered a zero accident day. And the focus would be for every driver, every person on road to ensure that they're going to make an extra effort not to have an accident on
just tapping on you with this form of this way of distributing this information on this medium knows one. What other mediums you plan on getting this information?
We're gonna post this out on social media and all the other medium after this day today. Yeah. We're hitting it up on the surface now, and then we're gonna set it on our Facebook page and on our email and so forth. We'll be shooting this out, but we're going to send a formal thing to all of the radio stations to focus on that, including the police, to help us highlight that on the 6th of March a special effort should be made as a no accident day. And Shannon Troy would be able to pull that information together. We're going to back it up against the statistics, back it up against the accident that happened prior, and ensure that Grenadians are making a very stronger effort on that day. To complement the effort on that day, I like to do slogans, taglines that can resonate with people. So we've been inviting some entities across, as a matter of fact, to send us some slogans as to what they think road safety slogans should be. We want to create some. We know drive to arrive alive, drive safe, and those issues.
Looking for some even more creative.
We want a few creative ones, and again, the information platform will go out. It's a building. We're starting small this year. We're going to increase the activities and the efforts going forward next year. But for March 6th on the entire day, we'd want Grenada to involve itself in wishing everybody a safe driving day. So every person who drives on a bus on that day, we'd want you to say to the driver when you get out, drive safely.
Yep.
We'd want you, even when you enter, drive safely. As a child, when you get out of the car on Mat 6, say to your parents, Mom, Dad, drive safely. And every person, your husband, you get off to tell your wife she's moving away, drive safely. Your husband just dropped you off, tell him, Huzzy, drive safely. On that day, we want the repeat of drive safely to resonate across and throughout our radio stations, our social media on our Match 6. We want everybody to be able to just repeat, drive safely.
And they should, a great initiative of that, if individuals, WhatsApp is a big thing now.
That's correct.
If everyone can have that as part of their status on that day. Drive safely. Because you look at everybody's status and it says drive safely, it will impact on you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's one of the smaller things that we want to do. And we sent it out this year. We want to recognize entities going forward for the first Monday in March next year. We hope to be recognizing and showing appreciation. We have sponsors who are online for that to help us to recognize people with safe driving records.
Oh, great. I think it's a wonderful initiative because sometimes having the ability to for a particular bit of information to resonate with you have to constantly hear it.
Yes.
Or constantly view it in some way, hear it, or view it some way or the other for it to resonate, because you don't want to just be a flyby. You pass your seat now, you travel down the road and you don't see it again, you forget about it.
That's correct.
But if it's constantly, as you said, you're going to talk to multiple radio stations, multiple television stations. If that day whoever announcer is on air or whoever presenter is on air, they constantly speak about it.
Drive safely.
Just say drive safely, and it will resonate with them.
Yes, please.
And sometimes it's just not hearing. And
it's not hearing
there's a reason why we see accidents happening, because folks are in their own world.
Yes.
It happens. Folks are driving and they're in their own world for some reason or the other. And that will certainly help a whole lot.
Yes, so I'll be reaching out to Aruna to help us with that, Shaggy, and Anna Augustine, one of the familiar platform that people. But
and suddenly we hear GBN will suddenly play off.
Oh yeah, of course. No, GBN. I hear Innocent early in the morning, and I hear you at most times as well during the course of the day would encourage people. Good morning, Grenada, the morning program, and to the point. Ever so often I hear it comes in and drive safely. Yeah. But we're gonna push it a little bit more, particularly on that day, to build it a little bit more. And let me just say this in closing. The I'm Safer Foundation, the AMSAFOR, the Asher McIntyre Safety Foundation for Roads. We representing, that's the unfortunate day that my son was killed brutally by a motor vehicle. He was doing something that he wanted to do to stay alive or to stay healthy. He was jogging. We want to represent as a foundation the voice of the families who've lost people fatally through road accidents in Grenada, particularly on the Morris Bishop strip of road or highway. On that day as well, we would wish for people to be able to call in and speak to. We hope GBN could bring in a few more of the issue. People speaking about those who've lost their lives fatally, and what kind of a recourse and how the society rallied around them, the kind of support they got, and what was done in terms of ensuring that it doesn't happen again. My son was really brutally killed, and how he lost his life and the condition after he lost his life, it lays a lot. And that's what drove us to generating this foundation, because we feel a lot in terms of even police investigation could be enhanced, or road systems and road signs and everything else could be enhanced. And we believe also that people who drive in a particular way, who involve themselves in particular activities, who find themselves participating in particular substances, etc., that inhibits or distort their ability to be in proper control of vehicles on the road, we believe that the penal system should be stronger. And so that's the core of our foundation. We're going to strive for that at least our legislation, our enforcement system should be a deterrent for people who want to drive recklessly and otherwise, and they would pay the consequences. Too many times it bleeds my heart that when results come out for people who violate the laws under those circumstances, you hear Grenadians say, "What? Did that actually happen? Mm-hmm. Did somebody actually feel like they got a tap on the shoulder for somebody dying so brutally?" I know a young man who is in a wheelchair now. He's trying to make a livelihood and so on. And he was struck by a vehicle. Yeah. And he said to me he had no support. He didn't have a lawyer to stand up with him. He's gotten nothing, and so forth. That's where our foundation wants to be able to be the voice to support people in that initiative. So we want Grenada rally around this initiative. Let us have a national road safety initiative. Let us make it stronger. It is coming in a smaller way this year, March 6th, the first Monday in March. Every year. We want to have a strong, maybe we're going to have rallies, maybe we're going to have motorcades, we're going to have different things coming forward to ensure that the whole issue of road safety, that Grenada becomes a safer place.
Well, everything has to have a start, yeah?
Yes.
It does have a start. And if that's the way it started, we certainly will build and the momentum will come around.
Yes.
All right.
You'll take 2 calls?
Yeah, we'll take a couple of calls. I'm sure there are folks who may want to tapping on the conversation. 435-2041. 435-2041.
We're almost out of time.
And we're almost out of time, just about a couple minutes or so before.
Yes.
And I'm looking at a message on WhatsApp from someone. They're saying, good morning, I'm 77, my husband is 81. And they say they need a stove. Anyone can help them, please. Certainly hope someone is listening and be able to help this individual.
Great.
And they're saying that with thanks.
Okay, great.
Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
My name is GT and
good morning,
Mr. McIntyre and Mr. McPhail.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Sometimes certain things trigger me to call. And one of the things, the conversation that you were having about whether people, the training could avoid them from being in certain behavior and so on. I think it's quite interesting and probably we need other forums to have that. But in terms of the issue of emotion, this is something we have to work on. In fact, even as I listen to the conversation between, among you, the word think and the word feel is being confused, including GT. When GT is meant to say, I don't think, he's saying, I don't feel. These are certain things being used. This is not indictment or accusation against you, I'm just observation. We have to get these things, organized. The thing about it is that we are all wounded for different reasons, either as a result of generational, intergenerational trauma and so on. And unless we acknowledge those things, acknowledge that we are all wounded and move towards addressing or healing those wounds, we'll be that problematic to one another. So, in dealing with the question about the abusive men or the men violent to women, one of the things that could happen is that kids, young people, especially boys, because girls don't have that difficulty, are encouraged to express their feelings so that they can name the emotions that come to them. We tell people, you're that boy, you shouldn't cry, and blah, blah, blah. We need to really think of how we do the society. Two things I was mentioned here, 2 functions. Parents, maybe the politician was mentioned here too. And these are 2 key areas, 2 key functions, 2 key roles, that there's no training for these 2 areas. So we need to start to organize the society from an intentional point of view. So that even though we don't have formal training for those institutions or those functions, by this experience, the rituals and all of that is experienced by the individual or by the person going on, would help him to become like that. And I agree with you, Sylvan, a lot of people who became certain things was influenced by their parents, not because the parents say, I want you to do that and not. And there are some who rebel against the parents and they became what the parents didn't want them. Okay, thank you. I know I don't have enough time.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your point there. 435-2041. We still have time. We probably can accommodate another call if it comes quickly.
Yeah. So, GT, the caller?
I don't feel.
What do you think?
I understand where he's coming from.
Give us quite a mouthful in terms of all the issues here.
So true. Well, I think we probably exhausted our calls for today, Mr. McIntyre, and of course, because we already have a couple of minutes after 10, so that's what we're going to take a wrap for today's edition. I'll leave you two to make some closing remarks in terms of our conversation this morning.
Well, again, we want to re-emphasize Friday's activity. No accident day. On Monday morning, when we hear Sergeant Paul, we should hear him reporting that on Friday we had 0 accidents in all our districts.
Even leading up to Monday.
Leading up to Monday, it would be good.
From Friday leading up to Monday.
Because this weekend he reported. Well, this morning he reported 16.
Okay, for the entire weekend.
Yesterday alone.
Oh wow. Okay.
16.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Just for Sunday.
Yes.
Wow.
But we want him to give a special emphasis for the 6th, and then he'll tell us over the weekend, and we're going to compare that technically.
Yes.
But we want to see how Grenadians will respond. We're going to have another statement. I think we're going to do an interview somewhere else, where we can have it as a news item, basically, where we can reach out to a different audience in terms of saying what we want to show on the 6th of March. And as I said, we represent the voice of all those who've been affected by road accidents in the past, and how we want to enhance safety for the future.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you once again, as usual, for popping by and sharing information. Don't forget to message me in relation to what you want to mention, so sir. I can throw it out. Sometimes, the little senior moment pops in.
Yes, sir.
So I certainly throw that information out, and of course, and other means and sources that I can get it, that information out. I certainly will play my part.
Yes.
Also. All right. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Hey, folks, that's something we're going to wrap today's edition Up to the Point. I want to thank everyone who contributed towards today's edition. Thank you so much. Have a good one. That's where we say goodbye. Have a good day.